cloud. What the fuck? All right, yeah. So we just got through a fucking stunning Super Bowl, the worst Super Bowl since probably the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks, in my opinion. Uh, it wasn't as bad as a blowout, but man, what a fall from grace for the Kansas City Chiefs. Right now, you have me, your host Ryan Slade. I don't know the name to be determined. We'll figure some shit out. But I have a fellow Bears fan. That's an enemy of my division, Adam. He's a cool dude. He has really in depth knowledge about football. I fuck with him all the time in class, and we kind of get to good basis of football knowledge, and we always fuck with each other because we're divisional rivals. So, how you doing, Adam?
I mean, you make one NFC championship and then you're letting all this out. You've been a fan for about what now? 12 years, maybe 12 years.
Yes, sir.
And you're gonna go crazy. Like, no, I'm doing good though, man. I mean, that
That's
Super
a
Bowl, I would say, in terms of just a competitive sport and looking at it from a competitive standpoint, I would have to agree that's probably one of the worst Super Bowls in terms of just, I don't know, both sides giving out what they have. And I'm not really sure if I'm pretty positive. I was telling you last night when we were watching it. I don't think we're going to see a Mahomes beatdown like this ever again in the playoffs. I think this is probably going to be
you
the
think
only
this
time
guy
this
set the
happens.
tone?
Yeah, I think not only is this gonna, not only do I think the Chiefs are going to have a down year next year, I think Mahomes is going to have a similar year as he did this last season, and I think that the Eagles are just probably going to. Eagles might have a chance to repeat because they're bringing back a bulk of the same guys. They got a
Yeah,
bulk of deals, and people are talking about adding Miles Garrett. And if they do that, then yeah,
it's terrifying.
it's terrifying. It
It's
is. You
scary.
think
It's
about that.
definitely scary hours in
No, for
Philly.
sure. But
Um, but yeah, that was watching that game, like, before, let's put our headspace before even getting into the game itself. So, a lot of people, myself, and I think a lot of people were expecting the Chiefs to get the three-peat. Along with a lot of other people, did not want this to happen. I really didn't want to see the Chiefs win again. But as the game went on, as much as I loved them getting fucked up, uh, a part of me inside kind of felt bad, but as a football fan, because we had a chance to witness history, and it kind of got squandered away pretty easily. Uh, and then I wanted to say easily, I would say very decisively, it got taken away. We thought we were going to see a very impressive season, and we thought we were going to see a historical feat, but kind of seeing that three-peat falter did it did kind of gave me a little bit of funk to it as a football fan, but as like the casual fan in me, and as like the fuck the Chiefs in me, I was really happy to see them get fucked up yesterday. It was after everything that they did this season. This was a great justification.
exactly. Like
Yeah,
I was saying last night, like this three-peat, as a diehard football fan, as someone who tries to look past, bullshit, refereeing and this bullshit of the Chiefs in general, I try to look past it, but there's a certain point where I just can no longer deny what I'm watching in front of my eyes on live
yeah,
television. And the first flag, I mean,
the
against
yeah
AJ
the
Brown on the sideline. I mean, let's be real. His hand was in his face, but was his hand in was that hand in his face enough to really just throw the flag out there? Because I'm pretty sure there was a good enough amount of separation between the two
yeah
anyway.
you had
And
the guy in New York saying he wouldn't call it.
yeah, the official in New York was like, "Yeah, I'm not calling that." So
Yeah, but going into the game, I did expect it to be a close game. I did know that the Eagles had a better roster overall. I talked about it with my dad. I think the Eagles had a better roster overall, but I think the Chiefs would do just enough to win. But god damn, getting into that game, the first half, offensive line looked abysmal from the start. It was Mahomes looked like he could not get off at all. Part of it was due to the amount of pressures that the Eagles defense was giving them. I think I looked at a stat. Josh Sweat had something like 34 pass rushes.
yeah,
It was fucking insane.
like that's and what's even crazier about it is that um if you look at just in overall what they ran on defense, I don't think they blitzed one time.
No,
And if
there
you
was a
look at
stat that came.
repeat Yeah, if you look at repeat teams who have not blitzed one time in the Super Bowl, they win. I think it's like 6-0 or 8-0, something like that. Every
Oh,
team that has not ran a blitz play in the Super Bowl so far has won. So it's
really?
really not even about it's at that point it's not even really like this kind of like doesn't defeat the purpose of saying like defense wins championships because defense definitely doesn't. We witnessed that last night. That front four were unstoppable. But I think it further solidifies how important it is for your front four to be solid and to be so good enough to the point where
You
Patrick
don't even
Mahomes
need a
can't even
blitz.
get, yeah, you don't need a blitz and Patrick Mahomes can't even get a pass off. Where you make Patrick Mahomes dance around like a little jester in the pocket and throw an interception on his own 14-yard line, then you don't need a blitz. You don't need to. That just solidifies how important having a good D line is in terms of just making sure that because if you don't have to blitz, you can have three more guys drop back in pass coverage, which is exactly what you need when you got people like Travis Kelsey, especially in the playoffs, Xavier Worthy, never count out D Hop, and Hollywood Brown. But really, nobody really did anything last night, and I mean, it's just good defense. This is probably the best Eagles team in modern. I'd probably say maybe ever. This might be the best Eagles team we've ever seen.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's far fetched at all. One thing I was gonna say, going back to your point on bringing up four and then it opens up the coverage, that made the Eagles' secondary job that much easier. All they had was a simple 4-on-4, and they were still able to get the pressures on them. And then that opened up a lot of turnovers. That opened up the Zach Bond interception. That was an excellent effort play where he completely jumped, reached out, got that interception. Fuck Mahomes. That pretty much, I think that took the wind out of Mahomes. That wasn't the first interception. And then we had Cooper DeJean, the White Hope, getting a pick six on Black History Month, which was absolutely fucking insane. Uh, yeah, the pressures were absolutely insane. I was like looking at something like that. You had Josh Sweat going crazy. Jordan Carter had like two pressures, and like two tackles for losses. My apologies. Uh, I don't know I didn't hear much of Jalen Carter's name last night. I have to look back on the stats itself, but the Eagles' defensive line, I felt like the true MVP of that game definitely has to be Josh Sweat because the
Yeah,
amount of pressures and the amount of tackles for late, he was definitely working his ass off this game. I definitely think he is the real MVP. But going back on something real quick, a point that I made with my dad was one of the necessary things that you need to do to defeat the Eagles is to completely neutralize Saquon. Saquon himself didn't have that big of a game, but Jalen Hurts definitely stepped up when he needed to, which that was kind of a narrative earlier in the season. Like Saquon's kind of carrying the team. Can Jalen Hurts even get over the hump? So, what's your reaction on Jalen Hurts' play last night?
I mean, the dude's just a winner. I mean, I don't understand the Jalen Hurts hate. I'm not even an Eagles fan. I would say the Eagles are one of my more favorite teams to watch. I wouldn't say I have a like a fandom for them, but I
Yeah.
do like a lot of their players, and I have a pretty close friend who's an Eagles fan, so I was kind of rooting for him to get his second ring in a few years. And uh, but back to Jalen, it's just if you look at him in Oklahoma or Alabama, you know, he just wins. He's a winner. And you don't have to be throwing 350 yards and four touchdowns in the playoffs to win. You don't have to be doing that to be a good quarterback. The fact that he can win and he's in a place where he doesn't have to do that. If people are like, oh, well, then you can just put anyone in there. Well, not necessarily. No. I don't think if you put a lot of quarterbacks, if you put Brock Purdy on the Eagles, I don't think Brock Purdy is going to do what Jalen Hurts does.
Absolutely not.
And people are saying Brock Purdy is a system QB. I'm like, yeah, you can't. I'm like, it's different when you're placed into a good position versus when you've always been known for only being in good positions. And it's just Jalen. I think the Jalen hate is going to have to stop at some point
I
because,
think it stopped right after the Super Bowl with his MVP personally.
yeah, if you don't say he's top five coming in the next season, then I think you're objectively wrong. This dude has won 14 games last year in this regular season, played well in all the games, and the only real loss in the regular season was against Washington, and Jalen didn't even play.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just that he doesn't have to be Patrick Mahomes throwing 380 yards and four touchdowns. Like I said, the fact that he does it the way he does it and he wins just proves enough. And he's winning, and you can't really say anything against him winning. It's just what it is. It's just facts.
Yeah, I had an argument earlier this year where I posted like a TikTok where I said sometimes teams are overly compelled to pick that top quarterback or that top draft pick, and they force themselves to pick a quarterback, and they force themselves in a terrible position later for future years rather than picking the best player on the board. All you need is a quarterback that you don't, like you said, you don't need a Patrick Mahomes, or you don't need like a blue chip talent. All you need is someone who's able to win and someone who's able to get the job done. And Jalen Hurts has proven that. I didn't really understand why his stock dropped so low when he went to the NFL. He was phenomenal in college. And obviously, he got benched for Bryce Young, but he then balled out at Oklahoma. He's always had this focus and serious demeanor that does kind of piss me off because it's like this motherfucker's so light skinned, it pisses me off. But I'm hating though. So,
Yeah.
but but last night, if you did a compare, like I didn't look at the highlights of the game. I'm just purely going off of last night's. I had to look at last night's game and the Super Bowl compared to 2 years ago. But from watching those highlights, and I mean from seeing the last Super Bowl 2 years ago and the Super Bowl from last night, you definitely seen the difference of play of Jalen Hurts. Like
$100%.
you definitely seen a little bit more of a dog, and you definitely seen he had a chip on his shoulder that he knew that
Composure too.
yeah, very a lot of composure, veteran type of composure almost. He knew that the game was going to be very reliant on him because the game was going to be the game plan was to neutralize Saquon. You'd be dumb as fuck if your game plan is not to neutralize Saquon. So he did a great job following with the plan, falling back on him and taking that and just running away with it. He ran away with the MVP. Uh, he ran more aggressively than I've ever seen him, which he didn't run
Yeah.
that aggressive, but he ran like he was trying to get a fucking touchdown and slid
Yeah.
when it made sense. So he had excellent quarterback play. I agree. Like he's definitely a top five quarterback in my book now. Like he's, in my opinion, might be the best quarterback in the NFC right now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. People say Jaden. That's not Jaden Daniels. It's
It's
not.
not Jaden Daniels. We have to see next year.
You have to
We
see next
really have
year.
to see next year.
Can I say Jaden Daniels is the top five NFC quarterback? Yeah, I'll give it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he took his team to the championship for sure.
But
Jared
if you look,
Goff, yeah,
look
but
at you got to look at his playoff performances as a Lions fan. I'm saying that as a Lions fan, you have to look at his playoff performances. Is he able to perform during playoffs? No.
no,
So and Jalen Hurts has proven that he's able to perform. And other than that loss last year to the Packers, which was really bad, but
yeah,
they still were able to bounce back and get to a Super Bowl this year. So last year seems redundant.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's another thing that I want to bring up is how underutilized. I saw maybe I mean we weren't watching the gameplay for play last night, but I feel like they never gave the ball to Isaiah Pacheco at all last night, and I understand if you're not getting time to throw the ball, how you're going to really run the ball. Well, to that, I say there's two types of blocking: there's pass blocking and there's run blocking. A team can be very good at run blocking and be bad at pass blocking. For example, like the Bears, for numerous years, not this year really, but years before then, we would have a top five rushing offense and have like a bottom five passing offense. So your lineman can if they
maker.
can run block, yeah. But obviously they either didn't try enough last night or it wasn't working because I barely saw Isaiah Pacheco run at all. I saw like
Uh,
maybe one in the first drive.
One of the things that I saw on I watched the Games with Names podcast, and they were talking about the genius of Andy Reid, and Julian Edelman was basically talking about how Bill Belichick was explaining that in his heart of hearts, this guy wants to pass the ball, but he kind of reverted to running the ball. And like I kind of thought that was the game plan last night. Start off with running the ball and then open it up with the pass attack. When I did see the run plays that I called it, like you said, like we didn't catch play for play, but the run plays that I did see, he got maybe a yard or two. And that had something to do with the offensive line play. The offensive line play on the Kansas City Chiefs was abysmal last night. That was one the
On par
probably
with the Buccaneers Super Bowl. On par, if not worse. Like it's
I think that was the worst offensive line play since the 2015 Panthers Super Bowl. Like the 2015 Panthers single-handedly lost that Super Bowl because their offensive line and Cam Newton played like shit. But the offensive line was fucking abysmal last night. They couldn't do anything on offense. So yeah, I did want to see them go to Pacheco a little more. I expected him to be in a little bit more of the game plans, but again, with that defensive line playing like that, it's very and the offensive line playing it ultimately had something to do with the Eagles' offensive line. I mean, defensive line playing at an elite level, and then the Chiefs playing at not the offensive line not playing at a playoff level. It wasn't Super Bowl
mhm.
level, definitely not playoff level. If they
I don't
played
think
like
anything about anybody's performance last night was Super Bowl level. Travis Kelsey was non-existent. Chris Jones pass pressure was non-existent.
yeah,
Um, I feel like Jalen had all day, and I know that Jalen has only like done a drop back pass in like maybe like 3 or 4 times in his entire career in the NFL. He like
yeah.
they always do play action. Like I'm pretty sure it was against the Rams this past playoff series. He dropped back like a 4 or 5 step drop back for the first time like ever in his NFL career.
Wow.
They don't it was either a shit post or it was true, but I believe it knowing watching the Eagles and knowing how they play, they almost always do play action because there's no reason not to. When you have people like Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley, you can
And
always rely on play action, especially if you can run that out of like 3 or 4 formations and just on the fly, just spat out new plays. It's going to be hard to defend, and I'm not sure what happened to the Chiefs secondary last night. Their linebacking core was just empty. There was nobody. Tranquil, no but nothing. Nick Bolton, nothing. Trent McDuffie, nothing. Who the fuck got burned by Devontae Smith? Somebody got cooked on that last like 50-yard throw to Jalen Hurts or from Jalen to Devontae.
I don't know who it was. I think was it McDuffie?
I don't think it was. I think
Let me look it
McDuffie.
up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure.
But let's get Devonte Smith his credit. First national champion. First, he joined the list in national champion, Heisman winner, and Super Bowl champion.
Whoever number 35 is on the Chiefs. I don't know what his name is. It's not Trent McDuffie though.
All right.
But yeah, he got burned pretty bad. But yeah, Devontae Smith, first Alabama player to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl, which is kind of a
Oh,
weird
Jalen
stat.
Watson.
Jalen Watson. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Devontae Smith, kind of a weird stat. First Alabama player to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. You would have thought that happened by now. But,
Wait,
you
really?
know, yeah,
Julio Jones didn't score in the Patriots Super Bowl?
I don't think so.
Wow. I thought
So
he did.
no, so yeah, I saw a post and it was about everything that he's done in the last like 6 years. It's two-time college champion, Super Bowl champion. He got the Fred Blitnikoff Award, a bunch of other Maxwell Award, 2 other awards I can't think of the name of. Heisman. He's been
Yeah,
everywhere he goes. He also bought. He's a dog, and everybody
yeah,
was so concerned about him being a little small, a little
skinny.
scrawny, and I'm like that doesn't matter. It only matters when he gets tackled by like someone like Ray Lewis, type of like person. But
We don't have Ray Lewis's anymore. Like most
yeah,
of the
we don't.
linebackers are smaller and
I'd say the
faster.
closest thing to Ray Lewis we have would probably be Roquan Smith, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
a far
I agree.
and that's a
That's a
still
stretch. And that's
still a
like a huge
stretch.
stretch.
Yeah.
That's a pretty stretch.
But yeah, I
But
was surprised by the Super Bowl. I mean, I was entertained. I got tired of seeing this bullshit from the Chiefs. As much as it would have been cool for me to witness a three-peat, I'm also just like,
fuck
I
that.
want fuck both of these teams. Let's get some new people in here. But I'm also excited to see the Eagles come back and win because I thought they should have won the first one against the Chiefs. So I think it's good payback. I think it's fun to watch the Chiefs lose as well because everybody always pouts on the sideline when they lose. Like it's a different kind of pouting too. It's like they know they shouldn't be getting their ass kicked kind of pouting, but they can't do anything about it. Yeah.
Yeah, when DeAndre Hopkins dropped that pass, which by the way,
Oh my
like
God,
yeah, it
wide
was
open.
fucking yeah wide open. Fucking Chris Jones like fell on his
Yeah,
knee. Like
he was
they
on
knew
all fours.
I was like, yeah, it's over from that point. The whole time in the second half, I think it was right before I forgot what put the game on ice. I gotta watch the highlights, but I remember just sitting there like Mahomes about to do a 28-3 comeback or like some shit, like because we were just so skeptical on it, but like that's how stunning the Super Bowl was. Is that we thought the Chiefs were somehow, some way going to come back, but I think as soon as it was 30, it was 28-0, and it was like 20 minutes left. They had to score on every single possession. It was just completely out of hand.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite moments from last night was um I wish I could bring it. I think I can. I'm not going to, but uh there was a tweet that Chiefs tweeted out. It said another one for one when Xavier Worthy scored that 50-yard touchdown with like a minute and a half left, down by like 40. And
Another
there
one for one.
another one for one period. No excitement, no nothing. And I went through the Chiefs post to be like, I want to see how the Chiefs fan cry in the comments. I couldn't. Everything is just everybody else trolling them. There was not a single Chiefs comment I could find. Everything was just everybody trolling them. And I thought it was hilarious
Okay,
because
so go ahead.
it was, it was only about 6 or 7 years ago where we're like, yes, there's a new quarterback finally taking down Tom Brady, and now everybody can't stand him.
Yeah, this kind of shut down last night's game, in my opinion, unless he fucking goes on a tear and just goes on a revenge tour, which I don't think is gonna happen. You only get these types of situations once, unless fucking Michael Jordan. I think this fully shut down the Brady Mahomes go argument because Brady, he didn't three-peat.
No.
Every single Brady's never been blown out in the Super Bowl. He's only lost by like one score, and he's
He's lost
always
in
had the
15 combined points between his three Super Bowls. He's lost by
yeah,
15 points.
goddamn 15. What the fuck? The ball has ended in his hands. Like
Many times.
he hasn't beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I mean, he hasn't beat Tom Brady in the playoffs ever.
Mhm.
So I think Tom was low key having a little fun ass time up there, just watching the Chiefs fall down and collapse. But I'm
Yeah.
looking at the statistics from yesterday. Team statistics. Just stop me whenever you have something interesting or you have a take on individual stat.
I got it pulled
So
up too.
so the total yards, Eagles have 345 yards, Chiefs had 275. Passing yards, Eagles had 210, the Chiefs had 226. Rushing yards, Eagles had 135, Chiefs had 49.
Right
Uh,
there. Right there.
yeah,
Again, you have not only do you have Isaiah Pacheco, you also have Kareem Hunt as well. You forget completely that Kareem Hunt is still a very reliable halfback in the league. You have two guys, and Kareem's already been here before. He's comfortable in the system. Same. I'm pretty sure it's the same OC they've had. Still got Andy Reid, still got Mahomes, still got Kelsey. Got a lot of this. Some linemen still the same, and
yeah,
you're not even going to attempt 3 carries for 9 yards, and then 3 carries for 7 yards out of your two backs for the
that's
game.
t- that's fucking terrible.
You're gonna let your quarterback, who can scramble, but probably shouldn't because he's been known to get his ankles and knees bumped and hurt when he gets tackled outside the pocket. 4 carries for 25 yards. I mean, it's just,
It's clear that they won the passing attack this game just based off
oh yeah.
those statistics. Like they should have went with a little bit more of the run and set the pass up by the run. Um, but I'm not an NFL coach. Um, first down, Eagles had 21, the Chiefs had 12. That's stifling, in my opinion. Time of possession, the Eagles had 36 minutes and 58 seconds. Chiefs had 23 minutes and 2 seconds. Uh, Individual performances, Jalen Hurts completed 17 of 22 passes for 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. The interception was fucking bad. He also led the team in rushing with 72 yards and a touchdown on 11 carries. Very impressive.
Mhm. It's a great game.
Uh,
Only 2 sacks too. I
Yeah,
mean,
only 2 sacks.
only 11 yards allowed and 2 sacks. Good QBR. His rating was good. I mean, if you can get Kenny Pickett a few snaps into a game, I think not only are you yourself playing pretty well, but I think your team's playing pretty well. And not trashing Kenny Pickett that much, but
No, I
it
don't
is
think Kenny
Kenny
Pickett.
Pickett.
I don't think Kenny Pickett should have been drafted. Uh, the dude did a. I'm a defensive player. I'll give my take on Kenny Pickett real
You
quick.
don't
I
like
don't
the
think.
slide, yeah.
No, I don't like the slide at all. At all. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Patrick Mahomes completed 21 of 32 passes for 257 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Also led the Chiefs in rushing with 25 yards on 4 carries. That is fucking ridiculous.
Six
Uh,
sacks for 31 yards. That right
six
there is six
sacks.
sacks for 31 yards. I think they had four in the first half. Pretty sure, something like that. He also got strip sacked as well, so he had 3 turnovers tonight or last night. Um, Again, leading your team in carries and yards with 4 carries and 25 yards is abysmal. When your opponent rushed the ball 45 times.
I want to go on something real quick. It's it's easy to shit on Mahomes because yes, the play was fucking terrible, but it seemed like he was doing all the fuck he could do.
100%.
Really, really. Like they tried to like he was passing, he was rushing, he was the rushing leader. Like he defense wasn't doing shit. Like he was the only driving for like he seemed like he was the only driving force for the Kansas City Chiefs and the only facilitator for the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, he started turning up in the fourth quarter when it was too little, too late. But you know,
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I feel like you can never bet against him. I feel like you can never just truly say it's over because you never really know when it is over against Patrick Mahomes. He'll just pull shit
yeah.
from right underneath of him and right out of his hat that you'll never expect. And this game, I don't think. Obviously he didn't play well. I think he got exposed a little bit. I think the Chiefs scheme got exposed a little bit. Um, I just it's easy to shut on Mahomes. Yeah, it is because he's just whether people don't like his voice or people don't like him because he's on the Chiefs or people don't like him because he cries about penalties and losing games, which I am not fond of. He did just like against the Buccaneers. He pretty much did everything he possibly could, besides throwing two really really bad interceptions. That
But
second
those
interception that
interceptions
Zach
are,
Bond it was
but those are,
on his line.
yeah, a lot of those interceptions were on the offensive line in the
Yeah,
prayer. Like he just didn't have enough time.
that Zach Bond pick, he was getting hit, and his trajectory got messed up. He didn't throw where he wanted to throw it, and if you can't get a clean pocket for really any quarterback, Mahomes or not, Caleb Williams or whoever it is, it's going to be hard for them to get the ball out, especially accurately.
Yeah. Xavier Worthy recorded 8 receptions for 157 yards and 2 touchdowns. That would have went crazy in fantasy. Devontae Smith recorded 4 touchdown. I mean, four touchdown, 4 catches for 69 yards, including the 46-yard touchdown from Jalen Hurts. AJ Brown had 3 receptions for 43 yards and a 12-yard touchdown. And Cooper DeJean returned an interception, 38 yards for a touchdown, contributing to the Eagles' dominance. Yes, sir. The way hope. So notable records. He set the NFL record for single scrimmage yards, 280. Saquon Barkley, 2,857 yards, and 2,504 yards, surpassing Terrell Davis. That's a fucking massive.
It's the best running back season of all time.
Really? Yeah, yeah. I think so.
Best running back season
First,
of all time.
for coming off your first year from that poverty ass franchise. Like you, if you're a Giants fan, you have to be sick. Because I just found out this weekend that they passed on Michael Parsons. I was like,
Yeah, they did, and they're also keeping their GM too. By the way, he's Stan. They are not getting
yeah,
rid of him.
Shador's fucked.
Shooter, they might not even draft Shooter. They might fuck that up too. But
No, I think Shador's going to
I
New
mean,
York.
yeah, Saquon, yeah, he's got the best season, and people want to say, well, they had an extra game. He didn't play that extra game. They sat him. So, and he also had 40 less carries than Eric Dickerson did. back in, I think it was in 1983, 82. I don't know. I wasn't alive, but
Yeah.
uh, 40 less carries, I think makes up for at least a game and a half, 2 games worth of carries and yards. So if you are that close to breaking it, 40 carries under, you playing a 17th game would have still solidified it for me. And the overall Terrell Davis record, the overall yards is just ridiculous. His playoff performances were ridiculous. That's just the best. That's got to be the best, running back season of all time. Maybe Barry Sanders when they went to the championship game in the '90s and they destroyed the Cowboys. That was pretty cool. But this is, I mean, he won a Super Bowl off this, so
Yeah.
you can't really. That's the end goal of every season.
Would you say he's on pace to be? I'm trying to decipher, but what would you say he's on better pace of being, a top 10 running back or a top 5 running back of all time?
He's just got so far in terms of career yards.
I'll give you my top 5 personally.
I'll give you my top five as well after.
I have Walter Payton at 1. I have Barry Sanders 2. I have Emmitt Smith 3. I have OJ Simpson at 4, and I have Marshall Falk at 5.
Respectable. So Saquon's got 7.2 thousand yards in 7 years,
Okay.
48 touchdowns. And to his defense, he's in a very pass heavy offense. A lot of these all time great running backs are in very run heavy offensive styles back then. They just didn't pass the ball as much. Marino you know, was like Mahomes
Yeah.
times like 15 back then. If you think about how crazy we think Mahomes and Tom Brady are now, Dan Marino throwing 5,000 yards in the '80s was like
What the
God
fuck?
level.
What?
Nobody,
What?
nobody did that. Nobody did that. He was the only person to do that. I'm pretty sure the next person to throw for 5,000 yards was Drew Brees, like 20 years later. So, but my top five running backs all time, I'm gonna go ahead and agree. Walter Payton, number one. Heavily biased, don't care. It's also just look at his stats, look at the way he run the ball. He was just the best to do it. Number two, I'll put Barry. I'm gonna put number three. I'm gonna give it to just a personal favorite. I'm gonna go AP.
That's
I
respectable.
think
I respect that. I respect that.
I think Adrian Peterson needs to get more respect on his name. Being able to put 2,000 yards up on a season after tearing your ACL is probably something nobody else will ever do.
Could I switch mine out? My number 5 out.
Yeah,
Ladainian Tomlinson. He was one of.
I
He
was
was
gonna
fucking
go.
insane. He
I was
was
gonna go
fucking
number
insane.
four. Number four is LT. And number five, Tony Dorsett.
Yeah. Okay. I like Tony Dorsett.
I would put
I
Gale Sayers in there, but Gale Sayers didn't have the long career in terms of where I think he should be a top five. And impact wise, I could argue Gale Sayers being top five, but actually just career wise, I'll have to put someone else over him.
I would like, as a football fanatic and like as a football fan who respects the sport. I do want to put Jim Brown in there, but like it was
Oh,
so
100%.
early. It was so early, and I haven't seen enough highlights. I personally, I like, if I want to be like a football analytic and just be like a true football fan, I have to put OJ in my top 5
I
list.
was just about to
2000,
say
yeah,
OJ's got to be
2002,
in there.
yeah, 2000 yards and 14. See, like that's my list. It's Walter, Barry, Emmitt Smith, OJ Simpson, Ladainian Tomlinson.
The
Like it's
reason
between
why, yeah, go ahead.
like Ladainian Tomlinson and Marshall Falk are really a toss up for me because they were both fucking insane in their prime.
Yeah, and I left Emmitt Smith out of my top five just because basically a lot of his yards are because of his longevity. He just played way longer than a lot of running backs probably ever will. He just
Yeah.
played for like damn near 20 years, and running backs just don't do that anymore. And they should play a good, Saquon probably has, if we're going to be realistic, on average, he's probably got maybe 4 good seasons left in him. He'll probably
Can
have
I
more.
can I
He'll
ask you a
probably like a
question
Derrick
about
Henry.
that? Can
Oh,
I
yeah.
ask you a question regarding that question? Is Frank Gore a top 10 to you regarding that fact?
Yes.
I was about to be. He was one of the more people that I leave out of my top 5, but he should get way more nods than he usually does because he
He's
played
just
for
so
a long
aggressive
ass
when he
time.
ran. He was so physical when he ran, and he did that for so long. Like, that's like, he's like what Derrick Henry is now if Derrick Henry wasn't as, I guess, I would say Derrick Henry is much more dominant than Frank Gore.
But look at
But
the
in terms
size
of,
of fucking Derrick
yeah,
Henry. He's 6'4", 200 or something
I
pounds.
think when Derrick's done, I think Derrick will be top five all time. I would
I
put
I
Derrick in my
I-
top five.
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with that.
Yeah,
You think
I mean,
who do you okay, this is a good art this is a good who do you think has a more legitimate claim for a first ballot Hall of Fame? Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley?
Derrick Henry,
You think Derrick Henry right now?
Derrick Henry, 100%. The first 6 years with the Giants are gonna stain Saquon's career, even though it's not his fault. That year when he got injured the whole year, only at 34 yards, he got injured in the first game. The year after that, injury prone again, 593 yards. Last year had a decent year. I mean, almost 1,000 yards on 250 carries is pretty damn good. Uh,
This year we went the fuck crazy. Like this was
yeah,
his best year since his rookie season, pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah. He had the most carries by far. He had 50 more carries in his last most, which was 295, and he had 2,000 yards. But I think those six first years are gonna stain him a little bit. And Derrick Henry always gave his team a shot.
Uh,
And I'm
Derrick Henry's first few years kind of stained as well. Like he didn't really pop off until year four, like year
That is
three, year
true. He
four.
didn't. Yeah, that's true. He didn't play that much, but that's because he.
It was because who the fuck was Deion Lewis was starting over him, and then
And at that time, Deion Lewis was kind of that guy a little bit.
yeah, he was
So
coming fresh off the Patriots and shit.
yeah,
He was balling out.
yeah,
But yeah, I think Saquon is on pace to be a top 10 running back of all time. Definitely top five. I think if you said top five right now, you'd be pushing it. But definitely, if he wins another Super Bowl, you definitely have to put him in. You definitely have to put him in the conversation, in my opinion. Uh, I think in terms of running backs this decade, definitely he has to be in my opinion, he's number three.
mm.
I'll put Derrick Henry one, Christian McCaffrey two, Saquon three, but it's really interchangeable between Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey because
Yeah. I mean,
if you look at the NFC these past few years, especially these last 2 years, the running back position is very, 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 very valuable. The best teams in the NFC have top five or top 10 running backs. We have the Lions with Jameer Gibbs. Jameer Gibbs is playing fucking phenomenal football. Josh Jacobs helped elevate the Packers offense to another level, even though I don't like the Packers. I thought that was a really good fit for Josh Jacobs. Christian McCaffrey was one of the main reasons why the 49ers went to the Super Bowl last year, and same with Saquon Barkley. So I'm glad to see the running back position kind of reinstilled its value because I remember a few years ago people were talking about getting rid of the position and how low a running back value is, and people still say that the running back value is very low. But all I say is look at the NFC and look at the top teams, look at their running backs, and you'll see their success.
yeah, yeah, and it just shows that I feel like I feel like running back offenses are kind of coming back a little bit, especially from I think Derrick Henry's 2,000 yard season kind of like let the league know, okay, this is possible still. We
Yeah,
can we can base our offense attack around running the ball while still being able to pass the ball without looking stupid and wasting any talent. And that's why I think AJ Brown went to Philly because they were just so heavy with Derrick Henry. They didn't feel like giving AJ Brown that money. And now it's funny because now that AJ's got that money, as soon as they sign Saquon, now you hear AJ start chirping a little bit, talking, well, they should just give me the ball. I'm like, they don't need to give you the ball when they got this dude in the backfield, you
and they
know?
got a ring pretty much off of
And
him.
they got a ring. Yeah.
That got to another conversation that I wanted to bring up earlier with free agency. So free agency is coming up. Uh, I have to bring up the notable free agents. I don't think AJ Brown is going to be a free agent this year, but I did see
Mm-mm.
something earlier this year where there are possible trade rumors of AJ Brown possibly going to the Patriots, noting with Mike Vrabel's new hire. After the Super Bowl win, do you think AJ Brown is going to stay? I think personally, the best course of action for him to do is stay. I don't see why he would leave. That'd be a dumb fucking move, in my opinion. What are
Yeah,
your
to
thoughts?
leave, to leave. a Super Bowl winning team and roster while being a wide receiver one to go be a wide receiver one for an unproven 3-win team or a 4-win team, however many games they won last year, with a head coach who has been proven to be a good coach, but not be proven to be any good yet in this new role. So much uncertainty. It's kind of I treat that the same way of like the rumors of Marcus Freeman leaving Notre Dame for Chicago. And I'm like, why would you leave guaranteed money, guaranteed job security for uncertainty in a dysfunctional organization like the Bears?
Yeah,
And
that's
it's like, yeah, it might be exciting to develop Caleb Williams. Yeah, it might be exciting to be AJ Brown and go play with Drake May and Coach Vrabel. For sure. I think Drake May is gonna be a good quarterback. I think give him a few years, build around him right. I think he'll be a good quarterback. Would it be exciting? Yeah. Is it the right move for a career standpoint if you're looking at accolades and just individual success? No. You take a pay cut and you stay with the Eagles. You take a reasonable pay cut. Don't let them like fuck you
well,
over, but take a reasonable pay cut, stay with them, let them re-sign when they need to re-sign people, and because they have a legitimate shot. I mean, if you ask me, they can easily repeat, easily.
I think they could repeat too. Like if especially with the if they, I got to see how much money they have left over, but if they have enough money and the enough trade values to get Miles Garrett, which I do think they do have enough trade values to get Miles Garrett, that's like I said, it's fucking scary for the league. It's terrifying. Like
That's yeah,
I partially wouldn't know what to do.
no,
So
yeah. That's why I'm praying that the Bears trade back, give the Browns their first pick this year, and then we pick up Miles Garrett in free agency. We also signed Troy Smith out of Kansas City in free agency. Get him out of there, bring him over here, and the Eagles, I don't think are going to make that big of a splash in free agency. I think if they're going to, they're going to make one big hit. They're not going to be signing a bunch of people like they were a few years ago.
yeah, no,
And I think the Chiefs, are still they don't really make big acquisitions that much anymore. They tried last year with getting, was it Hollywood Brown, right? They brought Hollywood Brown over, and they're like, this guy's going to be pretty damn good.
yeah. They get like
But
really like low key sleepers, like people who are like who are at the end.
yeah, that or they're in development and they just keep players when they draft them and they just end up being good. But it's hard to really make a big splash in free agency as a Chiefs when you have a $500 million guy on your team that's still
Yeah,
under contract for another probably 5-6 years. And so you have a dude who's gonna end up being the second best when he's done. I mean, there's no doubt he'll probably be number two right behind Brady, if not behind Manning or Montana.
yeah.
But he, it's hard. It's hard, especially for a team coming off of a Super Bowl loss like this. It's like where do you even start?
I think one of the best thing. I mean, I think one of the best things that they can do is you gotta definitely look at the game last night, and you have to look at one of the biggest things that needs to be addressed. Obviously, the offensive line play was absolutely abysmal. You have to address that immediately in free agency and in the draft. So, not only I think it's better to address that in the draft rather than in free agency because you have a little bit of you have a few years to fall back a little bit where you could still be a playoff contender, but not a Super Bowl contender. That's why Bill Belichick made Brady such a force. He always focused on drafting good offensive linemen and trying to get the best offensive linemen that could do the job. People don't really look at the Patriots offensive lines when they won those Super Bowls. They were fucking elite.
Mhm.
So trying to draft that talent and trying to develop that talent, get familiar with Patrick Mahomes, you just get a new, fresh offensive line. Unfortunately, I think Kelsey's not going to get another ring. I think that was his last chance last night. Uh, still top three tight end of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But I think that's over for him. And I think right now is just a good time to hit not a hard reset, but a soft reset button to set up for the future. Because I think this era, there are three eras of the Chiefs. We have the era with the Tyreek Hill, where they were absolutely dominant with Travis Kelsey when they won the 49ers Super Bowl. You have this era when they won several Super Bowls and they had a very solid defense. Now they have to move on to the veteran mode for Mahomes, and unfortunately, the New England Patriots type of move. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
So
and this
go ahead.
is it's just uh kind of like just it's just a new identity for this team, and I feel like they have to find a way to hold on to what's working without completely changing who they are, and it's hard to do that, especially when one of the only people, like I think the only person I can say that I've watched play who has been able to, no matter what happens, just dominate is Tom Brady. I mean, it doesn't matter. He's been playing in the league for 20 years. You would think someone would figure it out. No, because he's just
Mm,
always gonna figure you out. He's gonna figure you out, and he'll study you before you study him, and he always does that. And playing in the league for 20 years and winning 7 rings, you know every defense in and out, even if it's different coordinators. He may be coordinating for the Lions now, but he was coordinating for the Jets 10 years ago, and I remember how he played against me when I then blah blah blah. It's just knowing it's just knowing how to like consistently be dominant without changing how much your team is really about, and kind of like how Tom Brady was able to consistently stay dominant without changing his play style.
yeah, I think comparatively speaking, where Tom Brady and Michael Jordan like kind of had that aura of dominance, and they kind of were able to dominate throughout years, and with their knowledge, and not only with their knowledge, with their competitiveness and their passion and their fire for the game. Comparatively speaking, with LeBron and Patrick Mahomes, you had these people who came into the sport at first who were absolutely impressive, absolutely like phenomenal. Like we couldn't, like we were just talking about it last night. Patrick Mahomes had probably the most impressive quarterback season I've ever seen in my lifetime. Same thing with LeBron James. He had the most impressive basketball season I've seen in my lifetime.
Yep.
All of them, all of the similarities and the pathways with these players is they're they use their athleticism and their creativity and their craftiness to an advantage of their game. But then as you start to see Mahomes start to slow down. He doesn't really do those tricky mechanics anymore. He safely rushes now rather than aggressively rushing and like going head first. Same thing with LeBron James. LeBron James slowed it down and played a little bit more intelligently. I think that's something that Patrick Mahomes is going to have to end is going to eventually end up doing. Just playing the game a lot smarter than everybody else on the field. You don't have to be the best player in the field as long as you're the smartest. I think that's going to be, and as long as you can control the game from that aspect, and it's going to be a couple seasons to master that because
Yeah.
you got a lot of these new defenses coming out. You got a lot of the you're getting a lot of the spread offenses and the pass heavy offenses finally getting exposed now. So it's going to take a few years to adjust to these defenses and to adjust to the talent level because you have a lot smaller, faster players getting in comparatively when he started. But I
Mhm.
think he'll adjust. Like a player of his caliber definitely has the capability to adjust. Similar to Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning was a gunslinging motherfucker, like didn't really give a fuck in the beginning, but then he started slowing everything down, started reading defenses, and it's probably, if not the second most intelligent quarterback, the most intelligent quarterback of all time. So you just got to slow it down.
Yeah. Speaking of, we were talking about faster, smaller players. Uh, we were talking about new players coming in. I was going to tell you my top three prospects coming out of the draft, and just to switch it up real quick. And I think yeah, I feel like two of these might be kind of a surprise. One definitely isn't, but two and three. And it's not that I don't think anybody else is. These aren't like the three most talented, I would say, coming out, but I would say these are the three that I'm looking forward to the most seeing.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Three that
Yeah,
you're the most excited for.
yeah. So my number one, obviously, it's Travis Hunter. As a
Okay.
cornerback, I have him going as a cornerback. I think he just plays a quarterback position better than he does in receiver. I think he's not a bad receiver whatsoever at all. I really don't think he is. He was number one option on that Colorado offense, which was a decent offense, had a lot of weapons. But uh I just didn't. I just think there's a lot of guys that already have the kind of play style he does in the NFL, and I think it's pretty replicable or you know the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, yeah, no, no,
and,
yeah, yeah. I
and
know what you're saying.
it's pretty easy to replicate it, and I just think he played better as a corner. I mean, he was locked down this year. He had 4 picks in 10 or 11 games, allowed no yards like at all. Just I didn't watch him that closely. I watched a lot of his stuff usually from like post game highlights or whatever it would be. Um, I was too busy watching our Friday Night Line A. Absolutely kick ass this year for the most part. But uh, Travis Hunter is a cornerback for sure. I think is going to be probably my favorite guy to watch next year. Number two, I'm going to go with the second best back in the nation, ASU's Cam Scatterbo. I think he's going to be a dog. I'm not really sure. I can't really put him anywhere in my draft board. I don't know if he's going to be a late second round, a late first round, like because I can see him going middle of the late second, but I can also see him going late first round. And I and he's so versatile as a back. I can't really even pin a team for him. A lot of teams could use him. I mean, fuck, Bears could. We could use him over DeAndre Swift. Uh,
May I interject?
yes,
I think the best spot for him, and I think the team that's going to get him is San Diego.
that would be a good spot for him.
Yeah, I think that's the best spot for him because I think Jim Harbaugh would love him and they don't have an established. J.K. Dobbins is good. I guess he's the established number one, but he's injury prone as fuck.
Yeah.
I was talking to my brother earlier this year, and I was like, Genty was probably the most suitable fucking running back for that offense. But he's getting drafted top 10 in my opinion. But who's your third one?
I also think Gentry's either going to get drafted by Dallas or Chicago. I hope he gets drafted by Dallas though, because number three is who I would like for Chicago to draft top 10, and that would be LSU's Will Campbell.
Should be the only option.
Yeah,
I'm not.
should
Come
be the
on.
only option. And if it's not that, then we trade that pick away to Cleveland and we get Miles Garrett. But if we don't do that, I say we select Will Campbell. I think we have the eighth pick this year, eighth or 10th, something like that. And I said we pick up Will Campbell. He's just an absolute force of nature on that LSU line. Um, I tried trying to find his stats. Like I have him right here with college stats, and I can't find anything. But uh, yeah, he's a dog. You know he's a dog. He's an All American. He was one of the highest rated linemen coming out of high school. Played 3 years at LSU as a guard. All
Wasn't he
American his
the
last year.
wasn't he the dude that was like, man, you got a block or you're gonna be working in the warehouse?
I think
Like
something
so,
like that. Yeah,
yeah, it was some crazy shit like that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, you guys definitely need to put a guy like that 1,000%.
And
I think
an honorable mention to my top three. Just because I hate the Cowboys, I think that they should also, with their fifth round draft pick, they should select Carson Beck should resettle and go for the NFL, and then the Dallas Cowboys should draft Carson Beck and start Carson Beck so they can lose 12 of the next games next year, so the Cowboys can miss the playoffs again.
I don't think
That
he
would be
can.
awesome.
I don't think he can rescind his Miami contract for 4 mil.
I'll find a way. I'll make
I'm
him go
fine.
to
No,
I'll
I'm
make him
fine.
go to Dallas so I can watch the Dallas Cowboys be shitters again.
I would like I can't say it's fucking Quinn
Quinn
Ewers.
Ewers.
Quinn Ewers to fucking go to Dallas. That would be sick. Texas boy.
That would be sick, but too bad Jerry Jones is paying Dak Prescott $60 million a year to either get
Shit the
hurt,
bed.
sit out for the season because of an injury, or shit the bed, or have a really good regular season and then shit the bed against Green Bay. That's also an option.
All right, my three options. All of them are defense because I'm defense heavy. I'll try to pick. For my honorable mention, I'll pick an offensive guy. But my number one is Abdul Carter, a thousand
Yeah,
percent. I'm very very excited to see where he's going to go. I think he's going to get picked by the Cleveland Browns and be the instant replacement for Miles Garrett. Not only can he play edge, he's a linebacker too, so you could do so much shit with him as well. I think he was the best player over. He's the best player overall in this draft. He was,
Really?
yeah, I think he's the best player overall in this draft,
Wow.
in my personal opinion. Absolute ferocity. His relentlessness in his pursuit to the ball is absolutely insane. I think he's going to make an instant impact in the NFL. I'm expecting him to get Defensive Rookie of the Year. Uh, I know this is fucking early as hell, but this dude's talent is absolutely
Off the charts. Yeah, it
it's
is.
off the fucking charts.
It is.
I'm very impressed by this dude. Most impressed. This is the most impressed that I've been from a defensive guy since fucking Micah Parsons in Penn State. Micah Parsons was a fucking animal. This guy, though, wherever he goes, whether it's, I think honestly, hot take, I think he should be the number one overall pick. Like I would say, fuck picking a quarterback first. I'm picking the best player overall in the draft and just starting over there. But sometimes it just doesn't go that way. You just got to go with the best fit. But I think he's going to either go to the Cleveland Browns or the. I think the Cleveland Browns is pretty much a shoe in right after Miles Garrett said he was going. So that's my number one. My number two, I have Will Johnson, corner from Michigan.
Yeah. Best corner,
Really,
best D back in the country.
best defensive back in the country. He was going crazy last year. I'm pretty sure he won an award last year. Let me check. He won the. Oh, he was national champion last year. Um, he's had a total career of 9 interceptions, 237 yards, uh, 4 tackles for losses, 57 solo tackles. Uh, I think he's going to also make an impact where for whatever team he goes to. I think he might end up going to the Jets. Uh, pair up Will Johnson with Sauce Gardner, kind of solidify that defense. I know Aaron Glenn is definitely going to try to solidify that the Jets to be a dangerous defensive unit before they go offense. And definitely with with Aaron Glenn's experience and then former history with the corner as a cornerback in the New York Jets, I think it makes sense. They're in a good position too, and I think right now in the NFL, before anything, you need to set up a great secondary before anything because it's a passing game now. You need to be able to stop the pass. In my personal opinion, I'm defensively minded. Keep in mind also. Uh, third player, uh, wasn't a defensive player. I said I had three. You know what? Yeah, third player. I'll give you my honorable mention. Ted McMillan. Wherever he goes, I think he's gonna be a fucking dog. I think his size might have a little bit to do with the issue, but he has the best hands in college football. I think he's more than likely going to get picked up by a team like the Raiders or someone who needs another receiving option. I would like to see him go to the Patriots just so Drake May has an established number one. But Ted McMillan is one of the top receivers in this draft. He's had a way better season than Travis Hunter. Cook Travis Hunter, actually. And
Yeah.
his size and his frame for a receiver definitely impresses me. But like I said, he is a little bit undersized when it comes to the weight. Like he's a taller receiver, but he's like south of 200 pounds. Like he's on the 100-pound side. So if he bulks up a little bit, I think he'll definitely be a dangerous force. Hopefully, he's able to still maintain his speed. But my third player, the player that I'm personally most excited for, and this completely depends on what team he's going to go on. Same as you, Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
There's for me as a football fanatic and as a football coach, pause, my mouth salivates when I see a player like Travis Hunter that I could do so much shit with. Pause. Like
Oh,
for example, the Patriots. Say the Patriots pick them. The Patriots can use him as a slot and as a weapon as in a red zone for Drake May. He's very Travis Hunter is best with short routes, like little shout routes, slants, little pop fades. He has really good verticals and his speed is off the charts. So if you get him on short routes like that and keep him in the slot, you kind of have your Troy Brown esque player from the Patriots, and then also for corner, I primarily want him to play receiver because you make most of your money as receiver. Uh, get paid, young nigga, get paid. And also, I think the most dangerous way that you could use Travis Hunter is using him as a slot corner package and have him cover a deep third at all times.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh, he covers zones way ridiculously fast. I don't know if you saw his coverage in Colorado, but his zone coverage and his ability to shut down the field is absolutely impressive.
It's
If
impeccable.
it's definitely impeccable. So you have a team like the Patriots, like Mike Vrabel, who's able, and Josh McDaniels, who are able to you create these routes and exploit the open field like with short routes. Definitely on offense with Josh McDaniels. I think Vrabel would go crazy with Travis Hunter. On the flip side, you have the Jacksonville Jaguars who can draft him, do the same thing, have him as a slot corner, kind of solidify your defense a little more. And then not only that, you're giving Trevor Lawrence another weapon with Brian Thomas as well. Kind of gives Shane Waldron a little bit more room to work around. He's going to shit the bed. Uh, but yeah, those are my top three picks.
Yeah, I mean those are more definitely more in-depth picks than mine. Mine are a little bit more surface level, but that's just where I'm at in terms of college to NFL. Honestly, I'm
No,
more
you're
of a
good.
spectator for college, but I will say my real honorable mention, and this is just because he'll be an alma mater pretty soon. Pat Bryant,
Pat Bryant is going to be fucking insane.
dominance, dominance at Illinois. He was insane this year. Luke Altmaier had a good year for sure. But I think Pat Bryant really solidified Luke Altmaier to be a nice 4-star, kind of 4 out of 5 star kind of quarterback in college and at Illinois. Going in and beating South Carolina, big statement win for the Fighting Illini. Big win for Pat Bryant, who's probably, in my opinion, I would say a top 10 receiver in this draft. Um,
Okay.
he's physical, he's big, pause. And I he didn't really play, crazy teams this year. I mean, the only team they really played that was crazy this year was Oregon, and they got their foots, they got their assholes shoved up.
It was
And
crazy.
it
It
was
was
fucked.
crazy. It was
And
fucking
I
insane.
was sitting right here watching it, just kind of being this
I turned it off
like
after the second half. I was like,
I
you know
was
what?
like,
We can't try.
I don't know what I was thinking was gonna happen, but I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. But uh yeah, Pat Bryant I think is gonna be awesome. And then um I'm a little surprised just because of how good he is. If Will Johnson wasn't at Michigan right now, I would for sure say that Caleb Downs is the best defensive back in the country from Ohio State. Caleb Downs, I think next year could be a top 10 draft pick. I think he's that good.
Okay.
Um, Same with Jeremiah Smith. I think could be a top 10 draft pick next year.
One thing you mentioned on what you want the Bears to do. I do want to mention one thing I would like the Lions to do, and I'm not saying that they're going to do this. Logical pick is go defense and pick a defensive lineman because of how hurt we were on the defensive line this year. Um, However, there's a player that's falling that I think is very, very impressive. That I think a lot of teams are kind of like looking overpass, kind of like how they did with a certain individual last year. If the Lions get Tyler Warren, the tight end from Penn State, and do kind of like a Laporta one side, Tyler Warren one side, and run a two tight end system, I think the most dangerous offense that you could run is a two tight end fucking system that with two tight ends that are dangerous and versatile as hell. Then you got JMO, and it's kind of like a very old school package, but have JMO play slot or play on the outside, have Amamra play on the outside. That way we don't have to worry about getting a number three. Still have Gibbs. You have extra protection for Gibbs and David Montgomery if he stays. But yeah, with that two tight end system, and plus Jared Goff's most of his completions this year were straight down the middle. Like in cover two, he was the most cover two friendly quarterback in the NBA, in the NFL. So attacking that little zone in the middle, with routes with Laporta, who didn't really do that much this year. Now you have Tyler Warren to worry about. I think that creates a little bit more that creates a little more in a creativity to our offense, in my opinion. And then the
Yeah,
passing game coordinator was fucking the tight ends coach for the Denver Broncos. So I think it would be fine.
I think you'll be all right. I think you
Yeah.
guys got it.
All right.
Um,
What are we on? Top free agency picks?
yeah, top free
Let's
agency picks,
let's just go
halftime
with three.
show,
Yeah, let's
something.
halftime. We'll talk about top three agency picks, and then we'll talk about halftime show. Then we'll get the fuck out of here.
All right.
So, just give me three free agents that three top free agents in your mind, and where do you think that they'll go? Where do you think they'll stay? Where do you think what do you think they should do?
Yeah, I'm also gonna throw in people who requested for trades as well.
That's
Um,
fine. I like that as well.
yeah, I'm not sure where he's gonna go, but just recently the other day, Debo Samuel requested a trade. Now while I think Debo is not as good as he used to be, I think it's kind of improving that he has never really been that guy. Some people really were thinking he was for a little bit. I don't think he really ever was. Um, I thought him being used in the backfield was pretty fun, pretty cool. Shows that he's very versatile, especially after he gets the ball in his hands. If he's in open space, he's going to create an explosion of a play. I think he has potential still. I think he has an attitude problem, though, and I believe that he tends to not react well when things aren't going quite the way he anticipated, whether
This
it's
is
an
bullshit.
injury
This
or
is
if it's
bullshit receiver bitch complex. I don't understand
exactly
why receivers
it's
are such bitches.
receivers are kind of like bitches sometimes. I'm not gonna lie,
I hate
and
receivers.
I know you do, and uh, it's I just don't really know. I guess I could see him maybe going to New England. I think would be a good fit for him. A new fit with Vrabel, who could somebody who's not gonna let that shit slide, and be with
He's
Drake May.
I meant if I could interject, he is also kind of like a utility receiver. That would be
100%.
that would be 1,000% very friendly to their offensive system. Ramondre Stevenson does carry a lot of the mantle and did get he is very injury prone as well. So it's kind of taking a load off of him, pause, and then giving it to Debo Samuel a little bit more. Kind of opens it up a little bit more. But yeah, at the same time, you gotta cut that attitude shit the fuck out.
Yeah, and so my number one guy, the biggest, I think, obviously everyone right now, he's on everybody's mind. Miles Garrett, I think, is a big, big acquisition for a lot of teams. Um, Obviously, places like Indianapolis, Jacksonville, these teams pop up, but I think it really does come down to Philadelphia and Chicago. I think those are the two big spots. Chicago, I think, for a pairing with him and Montez Sweat and a rebuilding new line with a guy also like I don't care what anybody says, Andrew Billings. He may not be the most talented guy out there, but he's a big dude who can block a hole. And the
That's why you
Bears
hear.
rush, yeah, most of the year last year, the Bears rush defense was above average, pretty good rush defense. Um, but I could see him going to Philadelphia. I just don't know where they're going to get that money or where they're going to because he's not going to settle for a short term contract somewhere with little money. He wants to go somewhere where he can win. And I can see him wanting to go to Chicago because of new coaching, because of Caleb, because of the defense that's already there. I can see him wanting to go to Philly, just winning. Um, I can even maybe say Buffalo or something, I mean, I know Buffalo's got that Von Miller contract right now. And, I know he's got like a 2 or 3 more years left on it, but he's not going to be, I don't think he's going to finish out that contract there. And
He's not getting any younger either.
no, he's not. He's just he year by year he's just getting more and more inconsistent and he's having off the field issues as well. And I think Miles Garrett would be a good fit for that Buffalo defense. I think one of their big issues as well is creating pressure. And if you can do that and hope that Mark Andrews continues to drop balls right in your end zone, you can keep beating the Ravens and getting destroyed by Patrick Mahomes. But that's why I think Miles Garrett should stay away from those type of AFC playoff teams because if you really want a shot for the next few years, you got to
The
go to the
NFC,
NFC
the
because
NFC is
nobody's beating Mahomes. And while Jalen Hurts just did, nobody in the AFC did and has been able to, besides Joe Burrow. So I mean, so that's number one for me. And number two, I kind of I'll put Debo at number three because I do like watching Debo Samuel. Number two, Trey Smith.
Okay.
I want Trey Smith to come to Chicago. I want him to be our new line. I know the Bears are not I know the Bears are not interested in signing Tevin Jenkins back. Braxton Jones. I like Braxton Jones. Are there better options out there for us? Yes, but I also would not be too mad at giving him another year, another shot. And Darnell Wright's good. But we got to address seriously have to address that line. And I think Trey Smith is a good starting point for that. But yeah, that's my theory right there.
So my three, I'll just go with who I want for the Lions first. I think the Lions should go seriously for that 49ers corner, Javarius Ward, 1000%.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would help solidify our corners a little bit more. Terry and Arnold was, as a rookie corner, very, very undisciplined last year. I mean, he had some great games. He fit into our defense pretty well. But as a corner, he played some games very undisciplined, and then like it did put us in damaging positions. I do want us to re-sign Carlton Davis, but however, if it had to come to a choice between Travarius Ward and Carlton Davis, I pick Travarius Ward. He was balling his ass off last year. I think we should definitely try to aggressively try to sign him more than any team in the NFL. I think it's a legitimate contender that he could go to. The NFC North is fucking packed with receivers. DJ Moore is about to have a breakout year next year because now he's finally getting away from the same three routes that he does, the same three short routes. He's not a short route receiver, he's a deep
Wow.
route receiver.
May I
So
interject real quick? What if instead of Travarius Ward, Lions made a push for the Jets, DJ Reed
DJ Reed, oof.
would would be a good. I think that'd also be a good one. You know,
I like DJ
he's
Reed too.
I like
DJ
him too.
Reed's really that.
I think with the whole turbulent season the Jets have had in terms of who's been calling defensive plays, I don't think it's really a lot of the defensive players' fault. Honestly, I think it's all Aaron Rodgers' fault.
Yeah,
But uh,
all of it is.
and so DJ Reed, I mean, normally is solid, top 30, top 20 cornerback in the league. And
But
uh
that also gives me an inkling of why I think the Jets are about to pick Will Johnson. I don't think DJ Reed's going to sign it back with the Jets.
yeah,
So yeah, I would like us to go aggressively for Travarius Ward. DJ Reed was a hell of a shout out though. I didn't even think about him at first, but one huge one that everybody's talking about, T Higgins.
of
Um,
course, yeah.
hot take. Okay, you could either go to the Patriots. You're gonna like this because they have the money and Keenan Allen's leaving. Probably the Bears. I think it could work
Who,
with
T
him and
Higgins to the
DJ.
Bears?
Yeah, I think it could work
With what
personally.
money? Who we gonna pay? We just paid DJ.
You just paid DJ.
We just paid him 109 million this past season.
Okay, forget that. I think he's going to the Patriots then.
Yeah.
Uh, who else? Chris Godwin. I think he's gonna stay with the Bucks.
Yeah, he'll stay. I mean, I think he's gonna retire there. I think him and Mike are both gonna retire there. I don't see why he wouldn't want to retire in Tampa.
Yeah, but really, Travarius Ward. I think T Higgins is gonna go to the Patriots
Mm-hmm.
personally, and quarterbacks. Hot take. Even though I said Sam Darnold to the Raiders last night, I think it might make a little more sense Russell Wilson to the Raiders because of his history with Pete Carroll.
Yeah, I was gonna say Sam Darnold to Cleveland.
Oh shit! You want them to sit for a year on a
I
quarterback?
mean, Deshaun Watson just
They
retore
have
his
to.
ACL in surgery.
Yeah.
And you don't want Jameis again, and you're not going to start DTR, whatever the fuck his name is again. God, no. Please don't ever do that again. Don't ever take away
So
us. Don't ever
I
take away Jameis Winston's starting spot for a guy that you know is worse just because you guys have nothing to lose. Jameis is the most entertaining dude you could possibly start, and you're giving him less screen time, which means you're getting less money, by the way. I just want to put that out there, Cleveland Browns owners. The less Jameis Winston you guys show us on social media and on YouTube and clips and interviews, the less money you guys make because he is by far your biggest player and he's not even your best player.
Yeah, he's made for media. Like I saw the Super Bowl with the Super Bowl like fucking interviews that he was doing. Where should I go next year? And they're like,
You,
oh no, you should come to our
did
team.
you see him get a crab leg and he bit he on the crab leg? He didn't take the meat out of the crab and then spit out the crab shell. And I'm like, this guy needs to get back in New Orleans and he needs to play for the Saints because he needs to do this every game week. He needs to do it every week. I
All right,
would love that.
I'm gonna name some quarterbacks that the Cleveland Browns should sign. I mean, all the free agents for next year. Just stop me when you say yes. Sam Darnold, you already said. Russell Wilson, Justin
No.
Fields, Joe
Yes.
Flacco,
Yes.
Jimmy G,
Yes.
Zach Wilson,
No.
Andy Dalton,
No.
Marcus Mariota,
Yeah.
Drew Lock,
Fuck it.
Mac fuck it, Mac Jones,
Fuck it.
Carson Wentz,
Hell no.
Josh Dobbs,
Nah.
Mason Rudolph,
No.
Big J-Mo.
Jameis Winston?
Yeah.
Yes. Fuck yes.
Jacoby,
Yeah. Yeah.
Jarrett Stidham,
I'm not even gonna answer that.
Cooper Rush,
Keep Cooper Rush in Dallas forever, please.
Desmond Ritter,
Desmond Shitter.
Trey
Desmond, he needs to go to Canada, dude.
Trey Lance,
I feel bad for Trey Lance, man. I'll put him anywhere, man. Give him a shot.
Taylor Heineke,
Put him back on the Commanders.
Kyle Trask,
Keep him in Tampa behind Baker.
Teddy Bridgewater,
Keep coaching high school, bro.
Tyler Huntley.
He still plays?
Yeah, he still plays.
Wait, Pro Bowl quarterback Tyler Huntley?
Yes, sir. Mike White,
Nah, that's a Jets legend, man.
just legend. I'm trying to think of nah, because fucking Tyrod's probably starting next year on the Jets. Unless
Really?
fucking
Wait, I thought he was done. He's still in?
yeah, he's still in. Tyrod, he's the
Oh, he
backup.
did play this year, didn't he? He did play
Yeah,
last year. I
he's a
forgot.
backup. I think Jordan Travis is probably he should get the fucking shot. I'm not gonna lie. Like he balled his ass off at FSU last year. So like
Yeah.
I think he should get the shot. I think he should honestly get the shot.
I think the Packers should sign Jordan Love to a lifetime extension. Never get rid of him. Let him play quarterback for the Packers forever.
No, I think the Packers' best course of action if they want to succeed is get the fuck rid of Jordan Love. I don't think that's your guy.
Jordan Love is unironically worse than Caleb Williams. Hot
I
take.
think I think Caleb Williams will have a better career than him. Like Caleb
Oh
Williams
yeah.
has, I think objectively speaking from a fan and like not shit talking as like a Lions fan.
Yeah.
Is like shit talking as a Lions fan, like realistically, is his offensive line is gonna get him fucking murdered. Like
Yeah.
that has to be addressed before anything. Like I said, a lot of his explained this to my dad before the season started because he didn't know too much about Caleb Williams. I was like, he's good. The QB mechanics look fucking impressive. What you see skill wise will be very, very impressive. What you'll see mentally and what you'll see intangibly is this is going to be a struggle, but all of them are like teachable mistakes. Like him backing up like 20 yards from the fucking pocket is absolutely unacceptable. I was like, what the fuck? Him throw
Him turning his back and running away is also the way he would do. He turn his back. I'm like,
yeah, he
okay, so now
turned yeah,
you're
yeah,
straight running
yeah,
towards
yeah.
the end zone. You're just running this way. I'm like, they're behind you, and as soon as you turn, it's gonna be uh Daniel Hunter or whoever right in your face, and you're just gonna get fucked.
Yeah, it's just like it's just backyard football play. Throwing the ball as deep as he possibly can, just hoping for a result. I didn't really like that, but that much.
Fuck all
But
that, man.
but all the shit that you sent me this weekend with Shane Waldron not going through film, not coaching, like it's just fucking crazy with me. So it's and like with him having to go through those struggles, him not having that much success in USC and him having the pressure that he already does have, I think he's bound to like I feel two ways about the Bears next season, and there's no in between. It's either you guys are fucking about to succeed, like succeed, and like be a legitimate contender, not legitimate like Super Bowl contender, but you guys are placing yourselves as legitimate contenders for the next few years to come. Or Ben Johnson's about to shit the fucking, I like shit the fucking bit. I don't think that's gonna happen though. I think everything seems very organized. It seems to go the right direction. You just got to make the right draft pick.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree. I agree. This is the most like sound. This is like the most sound I've seen so far of like a very short off season compared to um
it's usually the Bears make like what the fuck hires. So like, huh?
yeah, it's
I
that's
was
what I was
expecting to, if I'm being completely honest, I was expecting you guys to get like Eric Bieniemy as your head
same.
coach.
I was expecting something like Todd Mulkin or some guy where I'm like, yeah, sure, yeah. Not
Like
bad,
fucking Kellen
but like
Moore.
what the fuck am I doing? And
Yeah.
uh that's what I was trying to say is that we've always had these like I remember we're like we're gonna get better this year. All of a sudden, Bears have promised the starting job to Andy Dalton, and I'm like, I was literally like, okay, like what am I looking at right now? This is just not real. And then we drafted Justin, and I'm like, let's go. And then 2 years later, I'm like, I cannot believe this is not the guy. And you're watching Caleb get hyped for Caleb. I cannot believe that this guy is getting failed. And it's just bullshit after bullshit with the McCaskey family. R.I.P. Virginia McCaskey. Uh, but it's just her incompetent son George not being known to quote unquote not be a football guy and running a football organization. And I'm just like, well, at some point, I really do think the turning point for this franchise was the Seattle game when the entire stadium during and post game was chanting "Sell the team." You could hear it on live TV. You could hear it in the post game interview with the Thursday night crew. You could hear it from the stands. Bears fans stayed after the game to watch the Thursday night post game show and chant into the microphones "Sell the team." So George saw that and was like, "Let's all right, let's take this next step. Let's sign this $15 million a year coach that who's never coached before." And I applaud them for that. I applaud them for taking a risk, and I really do have. I'm the happiest you'll ever see a 6 out of 10 excited guy in the world because at this point I can only get so excited to where I have to see on field proof of what I'm being told. And as you said, you either think it's going to be a peer or a peer for me. I literally think it's going to be. I think we're either going to do worse this year than we did last year, which I
I
would
don't see.
find.
I don't see how you could do that.
I mean,
I
we did
don't see.
it, but
I don't see you.
I said the same thing this time last year, and we were
Yeah,
worse.
yeah. It was.
So I can't even say that. So I either think that we're going to be worse than we were last year, or we're going to be 8 or 9 win team this year, and then the next few years after that, we'll be wild card contenders. I don't. I won't put the Bears into anything past the second round until I see that we're able to have talent like that. Like I'm not going to say within the next few years we'll be super. No, we'll be
I'll
wild card
say.
contenders.
I'll say for Bears success and for Bears fans, I think you guys will even up the series. Not the series is out of hand, but I think in the 2020s, you guys will even up the series with the Green Bay Packers because I think they're gonna get worse, and I think you guys are gonna get better.
I don't know. I don't. No comment on
No
that shit,
comment.
man. All I gotta say is that when the Bears beat the Packers just this few weeks ago in Lambeau,
That was Virginia's
Packers
last ever
fans,
game.
Packers fans, Like, it was a meaningless game. You guys screwed yourself out of a better draft pick. And I'm like, yeah, we know. But because you're reacting like that, we don't care. We know that deep down, we know it's a meaningless game for both teams. But we know that deep down, the fact that the Bears beat you in Lambeau, it bothers you. And I know it bothers you. And I like that. You can admit, because I went skiing, I was in Milwaukee that day, and I went skiing and I had my Jaquan Brisker jersey on. And people were boo. And I'm like, y'all literally just lost. We weren't starting any, but you were starting people. Stop. You were starting people. It's
I
not
feel
enough.
like I feel like the Bears Lions game is gonna be personal next year though. I feel like that's the rivalry right now.
Yeah,
The Bears
and
Lions.
let me just say this. I don't know what it is about it, but hot take, I like Amon-Ra St. Brown, but he is the perfect example of bitchy, egotistical receiver. Him on his podcast.
Yeah, him on his podcast, I
The
don't
way he
like.
talks to his older brother,
I don't agree with the bitchiest.
not bitchy.
But like if I had to pick, like he's okay. If there's a tier,
He's cocky.
I'm glad you brought this conversation up because this is a great conversation. So there's a tier, right? There's there's the tier of like a humble receiver, kind of like the Larry Fitzgeralds that just catches the ball and just throws it back or whatever. Then you got the motherfucking D hops, those silent trash talkers who like will moss you and then like will walk away, but he won't say anything, but he'll look at you and just be like bitch ass nigga and like walk away. Then you got them
Amon
a
Ra.
then you got them Amon Ra, which I'll put AB in that same category. Sane AB, not insane AB. Sane AB. It's the
Cracker of the
same.
year, AB.
Yeah, not cracker of the year AB. Like the AB that was twerking, the AB that like Sparta kicked that motherfucker. Like I think
Yeah.
Amon Ra is like a little tamer version. Terrell Owens is also on that field. Chad Ochocinco.
No, they're above Amon Ra. Chad and Ocho are above.
You think they're above? I don't think
That's my quarterback. Amon Ra will never do that.
I don't think they're above San Antonio, bro. Like San Antonio Sparta kicked the punter. Like that's crazy. I'll put him. All right. I'll put Amon Ra in his own tier, and I'll put Antonio Brown in the tier with Chad Ocho and Terrell Owens. Right.
Business.
Then you got
Ooh.
then you got them motherfuckers who it's all about me. Like the AJ Brown, the Debo Samuels, the Deontay Johnsons, especially. I can't think of anybody that was like that back then.
George Pickens.
George Pickens. But you got them niggas that are like that, and there's more like that nowadays. Those are the type of receivers that I can't stand. Then you got the Steve Smiths, the seniors. I can't stand that nigga. I hate that nigga. Like if they ever, I
What?
hate him so fucking. Like you're not even that good. You
May
small
I
ass
put his
kid.
hot take in there?
Go ahead.
May I put Devonte Adams into that it's all about me category now? With that whole Raiders. Now I understand the Raiders totally rug pulled him. I get it. But still, especially when
It's
he went to the Jets. He went to the Jets and it's not working out. Now Rodgers is not going to come back. It looks like Rodgers is done.
Yeah, he was kind of he was bitching about. Oh, I want to play with the quarterback that I used to play with, and he only had the Saints and the Jets as an option. I was like, both of those are horrible options.
Uh,
Remember we were talking about it earlier last year. We were like, yo, you should go back to the Packers. He knows the system. They could trade one of their receiver assets. He worked with Jordan Love before.
yeah.
I don't know why he didn't do that or why he couldn't do that.
Because he wanted to play with Aaron. But like back what I was saying about Amon Ra. So not bitchy, but the way he talks to his older brother is so like sometimes it's
Condescending. Yeah, yeah,
so
it's so
demeaning.
condescending.
And also he'll always ask him or he'll ask the guest questions that they know he knows they can't answer. He'll be like, "Oh, what do you think of this guy?" Or do you not like him? He's like, "No, it's my coach. Of course I like him." Or whatever. I'm like, you're
No,
asking these.
what
He
he
tries to
reminds me,
bait people, and
yeah,
I'm not fucking with that. Fucking with
he
that.
reminds me of like if like one of he reminds me like that Detroit Lions team reminds me of like kids that I used to play with, like playing football. Like it's like kids our age that finally got to the NFL. That's how I view it
Yeah, kind of.
personally. Because you got JMO, that's like the young nigga who's like pull it like fucking. He's just you got Jameer Gibbs who's fucking funny as hell. Like the whole team is a bunch of fucking personalities, but a lot of them are Gen Zers. So I think that's kind of like the Gen Z, like kind of got sprinkled in. But no, I think Steve Smith, Odell Beckham, They're
hate
like
Odell.
they're like Dante seventh level of hell as a DB.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of who else that was like that.
yeah, I can't stand.
Terrell
Yeah,
Owens would have annoyed the fuck out of me, but at least he did it like fun and shit. Steve Smith was just talking shit. Just I'm like, dude, you're like 5'8".
yeah, but the
I'm
reason
five.
why I like Steve Smith is because he was short, he was loud, but there was nothing you could do about it. He got your ass
I
every
mean,
time.
I could, but but he's like, he's a bitch about it because he's like, oh, so if you want to go below, that means you don't care about my career, so I don't care about yours. I'm like, where the fuck else am I supposed to go, you dumbass? I'm supposed to fucking stop you from running. I'm gonna break your fucking kneecaps. I'm a
Yeah,
DB. Like, what the fuck else am I
Kirby
supposed to
Joseph
do?
on him.
Yeah, that's how you have to fucking do. Unfortunately, that's why the Legion of Boom was so dangerous. That's why I fuck with them because they're putting these receivers to fucking sleep. It was funny as hell, but nah, he's the Dante seventh level of hell to me, and also Odell Beckham. I couldn't stand. Like I liked when he would like balled out for the LA Rams. He balled out for my boy Matt Stafford, but just his whole, my fucking god, I wouldn't stand playing against them.
Yeah, but
I
I
can't
mean,
think
I
of.
can. That's definitely. I forgot where we. I forgot why I brought up Amon Ra, but
We were talking about the Bears and Lions next
mm,
year.
yeah, for
But
sure. Yeah,
I understand, but you as a Bears fan, I can definitely understand your hate. And then I think doesn't his brother play for the Bears as well?
Equanimus used to be plays for New Orleans now, but he just recently on the podcast. I watched their podcast, and just recently, I saw the episode. Ben Johnson just came to the Bears, and Equanimus was like, give me Ben's number. Let me try and holler at him." And he's like, "You wanna go? You wanna go back to Chicago?" He goes, just give me his number. That's all I gotta say. Just give me his number." And so, I mean, Equanimus is a. I don't want to say he's bad because you can't be a receiver in this league and really be bad unless your name's Quentin Johnson,
Yeah.
and uh, it's just he's just never been that upper echelon receiver. He's a good depth guy. He's a good guy to have as a four. I mean, he'll make a good catch, at least like once or twice a season. He's just one of those guys who he's a good depth guy. He's a guy that's good to have on the team.
I definitely can see how Amon-Ra does rub you the wrong way, and like when you do explain it, uh, me as a Lions fan, like kind of going from my perspective, I do just as a sports fan perspective, not even as a Lions fan, I would appreciate it if players would start to shut the fuck up about what happens in the locker room, how we feel about certain
Yeah, it's none of our
situations.
business.
It's really none of our business. I really like that. I really like that mystery back in the day where we're like, oh, are they gonna team together as a team? I don't like when shit is public. I
It
don't give a
was
fuck. And respectfully, I like watching them play. I love that you're contributing to my team, and I love it. Like it's awesome. Do whatever the fuck you want to do, make your money. I don't give a fuck about your life. Like I really
yeah.
don't.
No, I don't give a shit.
Like I don't. I don't give a fuck.
That's why I can't stand when you got Micah Parsons putting up more podcasts than he does tackles a week. And, we're just talking and talking and talking and talking. And I'm like, it was better when you didn't know anything about it. It was better when you turn on the news and you're like, wait, Michael Irvin tried to stab his teammate in the neck with scissors? I didn't know about this. Wait, the
Yeah.
Cowboys go out drinking all night long every day and then they go and win Super Bowls? Jimmy Johnson lets his Miami team do whatever the fuck they want and they still win? That's the kind of shit because you'd be like, what?
What?
But
Yeah.
now today you're like,
LT smoked crack before the game. What? Like.
yeah. Now it's like, oh, Jalen Carter was going 90 miles per hour down the oh no. Henry Ruggs kills it. Oh. And then you got
No, it's not even
there's
that's
dysfunction in the locker room.
those are extreme. Yeah, dysfunction in the locker room. Like fucking, you had earlier this season, the whole team's dynamic was getting questioned because shit got leaked that AJ Brown and Jalen Hurts had a problem,
No, they
and
didn't.
yeah, they didn't. So fucking, it was just like you have reports and rumors of bullshit that just get out and it just ruins the team dynamic. Sometimes it
Yeah.
just I don't necessarily understand it, but I think players should shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
think because it not only doesn't invite the players to say shit, it invites other people to say shit as well. You have Kelly Stafford speaking on Cooper Cup's trade situation, which I'm like, why are you speaking on my
The
boy's
fuck?
shit? You're like, are you fucking him? Like, why do you care
You
about where
fucking
he
him now
goes?
too? Yeah,
Yeah,
like
why do you care about where he goes? Like, stop fuck. Like, this is disrespectful. Like, it's just like you're getting in too many people's business, and now people are talking about Matt Stafford getting traded to the New York Giants because of that shit. Because Kelly Stafford was like, if they don't want to stay in LA, then it's fine. If I was Matt Stafford, I'd be like, shut the fuck up. Yeah, I just think
yeah.
too much. I just think too much shit is getting out as athletes.
No, yeah, I agree, and I think a lot of the blame goes to the media, and I'm like, well, yeah, while the media is to blame for some of it, it's like also I'm like, you're just feeding into what they want you to do, and everybody's personalities is exactly what they want to represent and put to the world. They want to be like, look at these guys, you guys are being
Yeah,
crazy out here, and uh, and I swear, like I swear, if I was an NFL athlete, man, like I barely talk to the press. If I had to, I would. I'd give them short responses. I wouldn't be doing these touchdown celebrations. I wouldn't be complaining about a pay cut unless it was some bullshit. The only time I would ever like be a diva is if I'm a top five in my position and I'm not getting paid like it. If I see
yeah.
some scrub getting paid more than me, then I'm gonna be like, all right, you guys should pay me a little more. But you're like, I feel like there's the whole, but like again, that's not me though. I'm not in that spot. So my mind would totally be different, and I probably have a different opinion if I was actually in that position. But I don't know. I feel like it's just I feel like it's not hard to be humble.
No, it's really not. It's really hard. It's really not hard to be humble, and it's really not hard to. It's really not hard for. It's easy for the game to get taken away from you. It's easy as fuck. And I don't think athletes take that for granted at all. And I don't think athletes take for granted that as soon as you take that football helmet off for the last time, that's your last ever time taking that football helmet off. You can't, like, that's the one thing with football that separates from every other sport. Like with wrestling, you could either do jujitsu, there are some regionals. For a basketball game, you can play a pickup game. For baseball, you can kind of play an infield league. Even hockey, there are some intramural hockey leagues. For football, it's nothing unless you want to do the 37U. But I have shame, so I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So it is, as soon as you take that helmet off, it's over. And I don't think a lot of players take that for granted. And I think a lot of players take that for granted. And I think that just I think it's a idea where they think this is gonna happen forever, and they just kind of just aren't.
They get lost in the moment.
They definitely get lost in the moment. The
Yeah.
lights get too bright for them, and then
Yeah.
you know what I mean. All right,
Yeah.
we got
I got
well, we
I got about like 10 minutes left. But
yeah,
10,
we
9 minutes
get
left.
yeah. Let's talk about the halftime show for the last 10 minutes.
I
So,
bet.
what were your thoughts on it?
So I, despite a lot of online hate I've seen on social media, which again could just be, you know, like artificially just pumped and increased just because it's the trending thing to do. If something comes out, it's trending to hate on it, whatever it is. Um, I've liked Kendrick's music for a while now. He was probably one of like he when I started listening to rap music probably about 10 years ago, he was the first person I got into because my brother and I weren't rap was not being played in my house. It wasn't. I was not. I wasn't in that scene. And my brother was like, "Yo, I know you don't like rap, but you should check this guy out." So I've been on Kendrick for a long time. He's one of my favorite artists. But I'm not afraid to criticize him. I'm not a crazy dumb Kendrick stan. I like some of Drake's music. Um, I liked. I thought the halftime show was good. I thought it was a little underwhelming. I thought he could have played some better songs. I thought it was kind of short. I thought it was really short. I thought 13 minutes was really, really short. I feel like usually they're at least like 15 to 20, but like I feel like Usher's lasted like damn near a half hour. Like that thing was long as shit.
Fucking
And
Maroon 5 was going through the crowd.
yeah, Maroon 5, I'm surprised I forgot they even hosted. Holy shit. And
Adam Levine, but like, yeah.
no, it was Maroon. Oh yeah, it was. I guess it was Adam Levine, but Travis Scott was there, and but I thought it was good. I like this as a little feature. It was fun. I wish he played more of his classics than he did off of his GNX album. I did like the stage set was cool. I think the fact that he got the entire stadium and probably millions around the world watching live to say A minor while singing Not Like Us about Drake and smiling at the camera while doing it, I think that is hilarious, and I think it's And I truly, when I say this, I don't mean to be, I'm not dick riding. I genuinely mean it. I'm not sure how Drake is gonna come back from this. I don't think he ever will. I know he's dropping an album on Valentine's Day. I might listen to it. We'll see. But I thought it was good. I thought it was a good halftime show. A little underwhelming, but it definitely wasn't no Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, or Katy Perry. But it was good.
Yeah, I kind of have a different take on it because I do enjoy Kendrick and I do like it. I feel like the halftime show is as a musician is the stage, like the stage
A
to
100%.
spot to show the fuck out at. There's a lot of subliminal messaging that I
Mm-hmm.
felt like, okay, not a lot of people are gonna get that. I don't get it personally as a black
I
person,
got some of
and
them.
and and some people are like, well, if you don't get it, it's not for you. Why don't you explain it? This was
Shut
a
the fuck
perfect.
up.
And I was like, if you're on this grand of a stage nationally, you need to be bold enough to make that message clear. Because I
Yeah.
don't like that subliminal shit. Unfortunately, I like the subliminal shit is cool, but it's cool if I understand it. I don't understand what
Yeah.
the fuck it was,
I-
and so I gotta like search up and I gotta look for cute. I don't like that.
Some of the
Uh,
subliminals that I saw, one of them was Samuel Jackson being Uncle Sam the whole time. I rewatched it after it came out. I watched it this morning again so I could like actually hear it. And I saw a video of it live. Whoever was doing the mixing for the broadcast was terrible. I could barely hear Kendrick, but I saw a video of it live. Kendrick was loud and clear in the stadium. So everybody in the stadium got a good performance. That's good.
okay.
But Samuel Jackson being Uncle Sam telling Kendrick, "Whoa, you're being too ghetto. This is not what America's looking for. They're not gonna understand this type of shit."
Yeah, I don't understand if that was for Drake or if that was for Trump.
That was
The-
for that was
I
for the
don't.
majority of white people who don't listen to hip hop music. And then when he
I,
when
I,
he
I, I'll get to that. I'll get to that part. So the parts that I liked, for as much as I don't like the subliminal messaging, the visual was really there could have been a little more, but it was fine. Red, white, and blue. There was no rainbows. There was no like Black Lives Matter shit. It was just typical patriotic, yeah, Black America shit. Uh, the mirrors were cool, kind of like the bitches just being like, "What? What's up?" And then like the niggas kind of like fucking around on the street. I thought the shit was cool. I love the fact that in the back of my head, that I know there are several of old white people pissed as fuck at this,
my
and
dad
I
texted me a
loved it.
rolling
I
eyes
love,
emoji. I
yeah,
was like, "You're an old head, bro."
yeah, yeah. I loved it. I loved like, yeah, this is unfortunately America now. Let me get to the parts that I don't like. There are several parts that I did not like about this halftime performance. One of the things was the mixing. I couldn't hear shit that he was saying on my TV.
Yeah.
I don't know if I thought it was my speakers, but apparently it was everybody else. The mixing was fucking terrible.
Mhm. For
The
sure.
set, you can criticize me on this if you want to. The set list was fucking terrible, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Wasn't good.
It was. I do appreciate the fact that he did try to put his new songs on there, but if you from that halftime performance, if you didn't know who Kendrick was, you'd only know him from Damn and his Drake beef.
Yeah.
He didn't play shit from Good Kid, Mad City. He didn't play shit from To Pimp a Butterfly. So
Yeah.
I was confused there. Money Trees should have definitely been played.
Yeah.
Fucking Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe should have definitely been played. Then transition to Not Like Us at Drake's part. That would have been sick.
Poetic justice. Yeah.
Yeah, poetic justice. I'm a dumbass. Poetic justice. Uh, to Pimp a Butterfly, King Kunta. All those songs would have pumped people up instead of the GNX shit. If you wanted to get LA rappers on, I felt like FDT was the right way and the right way to send a message. I saw that was a TikTok idea though, so I
Yeah.
didn't think that was gonna happen.
I saw
Uh,
something during the song Peekaboo, which has AZ Chick on it or AZ Chike. I'm not sure which one it is.
yeah.
Why didn't he have him come up? You know, he Kendrick did his verse. He did AZ Chike's verse. And I'm like, oh, you could have had him come out. He did bring out Mustard for a TV off. He had Mustard out there with him.
Yeah.
He had SZA out with him. But I would have liked to see if he was going to do more of this West Coast representation thing, which he was kind of really all about this last year. He should have brought some of his boys out with him.
Yeah, and that's my whole thing that I don't like about this halftime performance.
Yeah.
It exposed a lot of Kendrick's character.
Imagine if
I'm
Black
not
Hippy
gonna
came
lie.
out, like imagine
Huh?
if it was Schoolboy Q, J Rock, and Ab Soul. What if like the Black
Yeah,
Hippy
that shit.
like
Yeah,
if
yeah,
Black
the
Hippy came out, I
TD. Imagine the whole TDE came out and just kind of like you got Isaiah Rashad and shit. Fucking I know Mick Jenkins ain't from fucking LA, but fucking bringing him out, kind of just putting those guys on. YG, who's he was there, he's mainstream, but he's not mainstream. If you want artists to get mainstream, the Super Bowl was the perfect opportunity. And
yeah, for
also
sure.
with this, and also with the subliminal messaging, I thought like that was a perfect time to just give a perfect message. You don't even have to play that song. Just give the message like, hey, this America, like black people, we're gonna stand together or some shit. Like if you just
Yeah.
said some simple shit like that, that would have been fine. 12 minutes is unacceptable. Uh, I was kind of disappointed. I'm not gonna lie at this
No, yeah,
performance.
I was disappointed. It was really short.
Very very short. I felt like he could have definitely performed way more songs. Yeah, the subliminal messaging did not make any fucking sense to me, and it would just be better if you were direct. I'm tired of subliminal messaging in
I
music,
did like
and
the ending.
I'm tired of the if you don't understand, then you shouldn't. Then it's not for you.
Yeah,
I don't
no.
like. I fucking can't stand that shit. It's just like explain what the fuck is going on, you surface level bitch. But
Yeah, I'll wrap it up with one of my favorite parts was at the end when he was singing TV off and he pointed at the camera and clicked the TV to turn it off and all the lights went off and then on the back on the stands it said game over.
yeah,
Basically,
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means.
so basically, what I thought it meant was he's telling Drake, "It's GG's, buddy. It's
Oh
officially
yeah.
over. It's officially done now. You are officially like you've officially 100% lost. It's done. I just hosted the Super Bowl. Everybody just sang A minor. They're all dancing on your grave. Turn your TV off. It's time for bed. Game over. That's
Okay.
what I got of it. But
Okay.
and then
That makes a little more sense.
Serena Williams was crip walking because Drake dated Serena Williams like 10 years ago.
I don't know why she got a shout out of everybody.
Because she's in the song, not like us, and she's from LA. She's from
Oh
Compton.
really? Oh
Yeah, she's
damn, I
from
didn't know
Compton.
that.
And then she was crip
What?
walking, but her sister got killed by a crip gang member like 20 years ago, which I thought was like little little toxic.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy as fuck. Last thing before we wrap, who do you think should headline the halftime show next year?
Say either Tyler, like I said last night, I think Tyler would be a good choice for them. Um, and I think Travis Scott could also do it on his own.
Okay.
I'll put Metallica in there. And then your favorite, what I said last night, I think Foo Fighters would go fucking crazy for a
Yeah,
Super Bowl halftime show.
that was my choice. I was gonna pick Foo Fighters. Just
Foo
if you want
Fighters.
to if you want to mix it up from like the black people shit and the hip
Uh,
hop.
I was gonna say hip hop, but
Like I'm not it's been colorful for the last few years.
yeah,
but yeah, I guess white people want to get away from that, and if you want to do that, Foo Fighters is an excellent way to go. I would fucking go
yeah.
crazy for the Foo
I
Fighters.
just find it funny. After Prince arguably did one of the best halftime shows ever, the year after it was Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and I'm like, dude, only people who were born in like 1980, maybe the 90s, listen to Tom Petty. I mean, I'm not complaining. Tom Petty doesn't make bad music. I don't listen to Tom Petty. I'm sure my dad does, and
Sure about
I'm sure
that.
everybody was like, with the candles in the air when Tom Petty was doing it. But I was probably watching it like, yeah, I don't
I
know,
don't know
man.
what
Play Lose
I don't.
Yourself or something. Like, what are you guys doing? Or play like Rihanna or something. And I was like 10 years old. I was like,
If the Lions go to the Super Bowl, Eminem definitely needs to do it. Eminem needs to
the
cancel
only
out whoever
issue is
does it.
the Lions would have to 100% know for a fact that they would be winning to have them announce it in August because I think Kendrick got it in like what September. I think he got the
Yeah,
gig.
no, I'm talking about like whoever's in it. Like if they have somebody already in it, they
Oh, they
need to
got to
swap
bring
it. They got to bring Eminem in.
what they should do for sure when they make the Super Bowl you know how Bradley Cooper had him and his kid. They let the Eagles out of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Eminem will be at the Super Bowl, and he'll be the one talking, and he'll probably drop an F-bomb and have the Lions
Fuck
come
the
out the
Eagle.
tunnel.
Like fuck the Chiefs. All right. All right. Let's wrap. It was good talking to you, Adam.
Yeah, man.
So we'll try to catch up next week when there's a little bit more free agency news and a little bit of a better idea of when the draft, who the draft lineup is. We're gonna work on our mock drafts right before the draft, though. So make sure to do your research on the players.
Yeah, for sure. NBA also still going on.
Yeah, the
Tonight
NBA.
I'm missing it. Tonight I'm missing it. I will be watching it at work. Luka's debut for the Lakers should be a
Is it
good
at home
one.
or away?
I don't know. I didn't Google that part.
If it's at home, you might be able to catch the second half.
Either way, I'll be at work, so I'll be on my phone. I'll just be on Stream East or something. I'm gonna basically
Okay.
watching it.
Remember, the LA games are like at 9 p.m. or some shit over here.
Oh yeah, it's true. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it should be a good. We got a lot of sports left still. I mean, I don't know if you watch hockey, but hockey's looking pretty decent right now.
I haven't watched hockey. I'm looking at UFC. We got to watch UFC for the next 11 weeks. So
Yeah,
we would have to look at that.
yeah. Good thing. Good thing I don't have a lot of time because there isn't much to talk about with the Strickland fight. Anyway, it's pretty stupid, but
Yeah. I don't want to talk about that fight. I already talked about that fight with my dad, and
yeah.
it was just all right. I'm about
Yeah,
to
man.
head
Thanks for
up.
having me on, man.
No problem. All right. You guys have a good night.
All right, guys. See ya.